Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's video of the 52-week project. This week I photographed Olivia and she was really great to work with, as all of my models are. She was great because I feel like she had that right amount of experience for this photo shoot, and it was once again a really raw and peeled back photo shoot. So there was really no makeup involved, or barely any. And I told her to come to the photo shoot very natural hair and makeup as well. So it was just us two once again for this photo shoot. Most of my shoots in the last few weeks have just been with two people. A lot of them actually from this year have just been with me and the model. And I feel like it's a really good way to continue producing content and continue developing your work. And sometimes it can be easier to organise a photo shoot that doesn't necessarily have a whole creative team, because you're not really relying on people being available on certain dates or anything like that. It's just as simple as you contacting an agency or a model and organising something for a day. So this was a really great shoot for me. Once again, like Gopika's shoot last week, I wanted it to be a very raw shoot. And I kind of wanted it to have more of a denim feel as well, so I told Olivia to bring a few items along that were denim based, and I had a few of my own that we used. So it ended up being a really good shoot overall, and I'm really happy with how the images turned out. I think I finally got that raw shoot that I was after. I know I do say that every now and then, but sometimes I do look back at previous images or previous shoots that I've done and I don't like them anymore after a few weeks. That's kind of just all part and parcel, I think, of being a photographer. Sometimes that tends to happen. But I think that this week I really did find some images that I think will be in my portfolio. So I think that's a really good thing that's come out of this photo shoot. But anyway guys, we're going to get straight into the behind the scenes from this week, and you guys can see what my setup was, because I originally did have some lights going in my small studio setup at home, but we ended up going to natural light because the windows are quite big in the room that we were in and the light was coming through really nicely. So we decided to just use natural light mainly for the shoot, and did away with the studio lights for a little while. I'm going to show you guys the behind the scenes now and go through a rundown of all the images for the week and tell you guys what I liked about them and what I didn't like so much. So if you can kind of think editorial and really edgy, like mouth open, mouth parted, that sort of thing, that'd be awesome. Beautiful. Get in and just take a few more headshots. I'm going to take some more like sort of, not full body because this room is really not big enough for full body, but like torso, like legs up. Gorgeous. That's really good, and just like creating those different shapes with your body on each side. That's perfect. And then chin down. That's really gorgeous. I might just get more of a profile shot of you kind of like shoulder and just kind of like looking out. Beautiful. We will get you facing towards this light. Yep. That's great. So guys, these are my final edits for the week, and I'm going to go through them now and tell you guys what ones I really liked and what images I didn't like as much. So this first photo I don't really like as much as my other ones that I took this week. I think it's not as good because of the lighting. I just don't particularly like how this one was lit. It was actually lit with the studio lighting that you saw earlier on in the behind the scenes.
And I think honestly that the natural light just worked better for this type of shoot in the end, and I think the other images do perform a little bit better in that sense. So this one's not going to be in my top 5 for the week. This image is one of my favorites for the week, and it is going to be in my top 5. I love most things about this shot. I actually really love the lighting, and I love Olivia's pose and expression. I just feel like everything came together, and especially that denim look that I was after on the mood board. So this one's really quite nailing the mood board that I had, and in the end, that's why I decided to put it in my top 5. This is another photo that's going to be in my top 5, and I honestly think that this photo really shows off Olivia's features really well. It is actually taken with natural light, even though it kind of looks a little bit studio now that I'm looking back on it. And I really like the lighting, and I just love the way that her features stand out in this image, so that's why it's going to be in my top 5. This is another photo that is going to be my top 5. I just really like the contrast of the denim and the red shirt, and also being outside, the light was quite nice at this time of day, and it was a bit cloudy too, so it really looked nice in the end, and I really like how it came out. I do also love the pose and expression from Olivia, and the wind was kind of just blowing slightly, so it did give a little bit more dimension to her hair in this shot, I think, so that's why it's going to be in my top 5. I really like this image, but I don't think it's going to be in my top 5 this week. I think that there could have been just that little bit more going on in the shot, maybe a different pose, but I still really like the shot overall, but not going to be in my top 5. I also really love this shot still. It's not going to be in my top 5 though, because I've actually got another couple that I feel like go with the theme a little bit more. But I really like how this photo shows off Olivia's features as well, and I really like her pose and expression too, and the toning of the image I really like as well. I think that there's probably just not enough interest once again, and I think the following images, like I said, just fit the theme better this week. This photo is not going to be in my top 5. I like how it turned out, but I'm not 100% on the toning of the image. I think those tones worked for the rest of the images that I had, but for some reason this image just doesn't really stand out with it. I think I could have probably worked on it a little bit longer with retouching, but other than that, I still like the photo. It's just not going to be in my top 5. This image is going to be in my top 5, and I chose it because I think it's a little bit different to what I would usually put in a top 5 selection, and I think because it's black and white, it looks really strong. I love her pose and the composition of the image. I think it's different for me, and that's why I decided to put it in the top 5. This photo is not going to be in my top 5, and you guys probably know what I'm going to say already about this image. I just think there's not enough going on in the photograph. I've taken a million images like this one before. I think it shows off Olivia's features well, but not really that interesting for my portfolio, so it's not going to be in my top 5. This is the final photo for the week, and it is going to be in my top 5. Once again, I chose a black and white image because I think that's a little bit different for me, and also I think it really shows off Olivia's features again quite well in this shot, and I really like the lighting. I just kind of like her expression and her pose and how everything fits into the photograph, so it is going to be in my top 5. Overall, this was my number 1 image for the week, and I think it just really conveyed what I wanted to achieve on the mood board, and that's why I chose it in the end. I think especially with the denim theme, it really shows in this photograph, and I just really love how natural everything looks in the shot and how well put together it ended up being. So this is why I'm choosing this image as my number 1 for the week.
Hope you guys enjoyed the behind the scenes. What I did well this week. So it's funny because what I did well and what I don't think I did well kind of overlap here. So what I think I did really well was the fact that I switched to natural light after the studio lights just weren't working. I kind of had that moment of panic when I was photographing Olivia and I realized that the light just wasn't there, it wasn't working, and I'd made this setup and thought that it was going to work, and then it just kind of wasn't. So I like the fact that I made the switch to natural light because it did have a better effect overall, I think, in the photographs for what I was after. What I think I didn't do well kind of goes along with the fact that I didn't get the lighting setup that I wanted. So I think that that really would have taken a bit more care and effort before the model arrived, really making a few test shots and seeing how they turned out, or even really experimenting with a couple of different lighting setups throughout the week just to make sure that I had that one that I wanted. And then when she arrived, you know, it wasn't such a mess if I had to sort of switch things up, and then all of a sudden we were outside for a lot of shots. So I think that that was something that I probably didn't do as well this week, but that's just kind of me learning with studio lighting as well, and it's just something that I need to keep in mind for next time. It's now time for me to announce this week's featured photographer of the week, And this week I'm featuring Emma Boone, who is on the Facebook 52 Week Project group, and she's great. She's had some amazing weeks of the 52 Week Project so far, so I really wanted to feature her this week. I think she's got some beautiful tones in her images, and just the emotion that she manages to bring out with her portraits is really quite beautiful. So I think she's definitely worth the feature, and go check out her work. I've listed her social media links in the description box below and also in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's 52 week video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And please let me know what you want to see in future weeks. I know a couple of people have mentioned about the direction of the model, so I'm going to look at hopefully getting some better audio equipment at some point. I don't know when that is, but I hope for you guys I will be able to do that. And I've also noticed that there's been a few comments on potentially looking at how I'm editing the photographs. So maybe it's something to look at switching up in the next few weeks. Maybe I can do that for you guys. So fingers crossed. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do, and I'll see you next time. Bye!